opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
And hello and welcome everybody to Scarefest Television, original broadcast date, May 3rd, 2024. And I do want to go ahead and apologize. I hope everybody finds us okay. According to my dashboard, it's not connecting to the Facebook group like it normally does. That is because Facebook has, I think they've added a hurdle, if you will. And apparently the software didn't pick up on it. It fixed it last week, but not this week. Sorry for that. Anyway, tonight is the council episode. I just want to point out we do have a movie review tonight from Joe Lewis for Abigail. And go ahead and bring everybody in. Welcome back to Where Did April Go?
I haven't seen it. I have no idea.
I mean, it's a blur for tax season for me. Like, I still haven't gotten out of my tax season brouhaha of no sleep and crunching numbers, and
I can understand that. I can understand that. But okay, now Brandon, now don't forget we have. What are you pointing at over there?
I added it to the group.
Okay, good girl.
I shared it also.
Okay. Let's just spam the fuck out of everybody.
Yeah, done. Don't
right.
make me at everyone, because it's a power I have and don't build often.
Anyway, are we ready for Friday, Brandon? Next Friday? I just wanted to see the blank stare on his face. Frank and Con.
It is. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
It's next Friday.
April has gotten away from us. Oh, gosh, we have Frank and Con, and then we're going out west. For Frightmare, and then there's some more in there somewhere, but
I might go to Orlando, but I haven't decided yet. I think I'm going to wait till the week of.
He goes Texas, she's going to Orlando. I'm going to Ohio.
Yeah, we're literally splitting off, and the things we do for love, we do this for you. It's all for you.
I never planned mine any more than a week in advance, and so I'm horrible. I'm buying weekend passes at the last minute, or calling somebody, booking an airplane that's twice as expensive as what it is normally.
Yeah, Brandon's method of booking gives Wes and I ulcers, and that is why the three of us are on the council, so we can outnumber him and try to get things done a little bit more promptly than his brain would allow it to happen.
Well, he told me we have rooms. So the only thing left I want to make, Brandon, I am expecting that you're driving, so don't surprise me there.
I'm flying.
Yeah, I mean, it is at an airport. I mean, that would actually make perfect sense, but...
I wonder if there are direct flights from Lexington to Knoxville.
There are.
Are there really? The last time I looked, I didn't think they offered flights from Knoxville to Lexington. I thought you had to go to Nashville, and it's longer to drive from Nashville to Knoxville, I think, than it is from here.
No, they do. I tested it out. I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. I've gotten, in my old age, I hate driving that much. But yes, Wes, I will be driving the pimp wagon down.
I guess I'm in charge of bringing T-shirts.
Yes, T-shirts and snacks. I'll bring snacks too.
I don't bring snacks.
I'll bring snacks.
I'm on a fitness regimen.
Yeah, fitness food in my mouth. So tonight before we do our guest announcements, I have noticed that a lot of folks stay up late and they watch the guest announcements with us, and then our cult members normally stay after 9:30 and finish out the evening with us when we do council episodes. The ones that really love us, not you pretenders. But while we have everybody on here, before we get to guest announcements tonight, and we never script council episodes, so Wes and Brandon are going to be just as surprised as all of you. I don't like to spend a lot of time focusing on addressing negativity or things of that nature, but I did notice last week after our guest announcement on the show, there were a couple of people in the group that were displeased that we only did one guest announcement last week, and we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Thank you.
You can mute me, I guess, if you want to, but I'm still going to talk about it. When you are planning an event, especially an event that is on the scale that we do Scarefest, there are a lot of things that you have to consider when you're booking guests, when you're announcing all of these things. And building lineups can be very tricky, coordinating schedules. If there's someone that may be filming, we hold off on announcing them. That way we have the smallest chance as possible of having cancellations. So when you have weeks like last week where we had one guest announcement, there's a lot of reasons for that. And it is not sustainable to run 3, 4, 5 guest announcements a week. The reason we have front loaded some of our announcements this year was a couple of things, but one being we wanted to go ahead and give people an idea of the main direction that the show is going this year with some of our bigger lineups. That gives you an opportunity to plan. If you want to come down, you can take off work, you can go ahead and book your hotel. And then we wanted to get photo ops out. In order to do that, we had to push a bunch of guest announcements out early in the year. There are some shows that are happening before us that don't have half the guests announced that we do right now. And we're only about halfway there. So I understand that a lot of folks get really excited for Friday nights because we do our guest announcements, and everyone's feedback and suggestions are always welcome. My email address is adrian@thescarefest.com. If you have a guest suggestion, you can send it to me. If you don't like something that we're doing, you can send it to me. But what I will not tolerate is our guests being bashed in our group or in our chats. If you have negative things to say, if you've had a bad experience with someone and you want to share it, that's fine. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it was worse than that. It was a horror fan.
Yes.
A couple of horror fans who know nothing about the paranormal. Now,
Yes,
right now, we are Scarefest Horror and Paranormal. And their complaint was they didn't know who he was.
Yes.
Now, for the record, if Brandon would agree right now to pay me $25 for every guest we've had in the last 16 years that I did not know who they were till I Googled them, well, it's a weird way to make money, but, you know.
Exactly. So, to add to that, yes, if so with that, I messaged a couple of people from the chat and I let them know, like, hey, I saw your comments. We're not going to do that here. If you have a legitimate complaint or a gripe or something and you want to let us know, I'm always open, all ears. We don't want to live in an echo chamber. We want to know. You do not have to be mean or attack people, especially phenomenal guests that we have invited here. Like, we are bringing them to the show because we want them here. And I will not tolerate that. So I'll give people warnings. And then if it keeps on, then I'll boot people. But I don't think it's going to come to that. I just want to let everybody know that it is hard. Booking guests, getting these announcements out. It's like juggling when you've never juggled before, I guess. There is an art to it. And sometimes you have to trust the process. We may have a couple weeks where we don't have a ton to talk about. Right now, we have probably more than one entire franchise we haven't even started announcing yet. We have had 2 or 3 franchises booked that someone's had to cancel, and it's a good thing we did not announce them. So please trust the process, and we always welcome your feedback and suggestions. So that is all. Thank you for coming to my Adrian talk, and we can talk about something else now. Sorry,
I just want to pile on. Something else has been going on in the last week in the group. Now, the people that are watching the show, I honestly don't believe any of you all have done this. But this actually goes back to another post that happened a while back. Someone posted that they really thought a movie was underrated and that we should look into getting some guests from it. Fair enough. There's a lot of movies out there that, you know, the vitriol that I saw come out from people, and I've had to, okay, if y'all didn't know it, when you, the very first time a person goes to comment in the group, they have to get permission. Basically, we look and we make sure they're not porn stars, you know, or
if they are, that they're not sharing their content.
There you go.
Because porn stars are welcome too. They just can't peddle their wares here.
There you go. Well said. Well said. But I've had to deny like a dozen people because they saw that post. I guess they've been lurking in the background, waiting to use the words such as shit, fuckfest. I forget what all it was.
Yeah.
And my thing is, don't let that be the first post, the first comment that you ever make.
Yeah, it doesn't
to denigrate someone's wish list.
Yeah.
There's my TED Talk.
Well, and I mean, and that's the thing. You absolutely, if you want to go in there and say, man, I thought that movie was garbage, like, okay, you can do that.
And there's a lot of those comments on there. A lot of other people agreed with the poster, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I loved this. I liked that. Meh, it was okay. It was overrated. I thought it was garbage. I hated it. Like, that's cool. But also, you should remember that a lot of the people that have been guests at Scarefest or are going to be guests at Scarefest, they have Facebook accounts, and a lot of them are in the group. And they see that stuff. And I have noticed an alarming trend building over the last several years, and I have found myself being guilty of it too. It is very difficult to look at a comment or an email and see the human that is behind it, right? You know, so for me, a lot of times I prefer talking on the phone because you hear someone's voice, you can hear their tone, and you kind of connect with them a little bit. The internet is not like that. So when people see tone, or they don't see tone, rather, they just see a comment, and, you know, so a lot of miscommunication can happen on the internet. But Scarefest is a happy place. We want the group to be a happy place. And of course, you are allowed to have opinions and disagree. Some pages on Facebook will not let you do that. And their block list must be 87 miles long because you can't go against anything that they do. You all are welcome to, you're welcome to.
A bunch of groups like that. And
Yeah, we don't want to ever get to that point. The only time that I will actually remove someone from the group is if they are being nasty trolls. And that's it's very hard to get removed from the group. But I have, and I will. So.
If anyone talks shit about the movie Trancers, you will be automatically released from the group and blocked.
I don't know what that means.
You know what I'm talking about? Trancers.
Hey, this is a great opportunity now to just go ahead and get our first commercial break out of the way because we're running on time for a change. Everybody will be back with more Scarefest TV.
DeBombs is a 2024 Scarefest weekend sponsoring vendor. DeBombs makes bath and body products for everyone. Ashley Dobbs makes unique small batch hand-painted bath bombs, plus sugar scrubs, whip soaps, and body oils. Find DeBombs on Facebook and at the monthly Central Kentucky Mystical Market in Lexington. Scarefest weekend sponsoring vendors make the event happen. Be sure to tell them that you heard it here on Scarefest TV.
Tuesday's Crypt features deals with talents in the horror community, from mask makers, sculptors, artists, and more. Plus, podcast Live in the Crypt Shooting the Shiz with BK and the Swag, and BK and the Bees, Horror Buzz. Visit their website, join their Facebook group, and thank them for being a Scarefest sponsoring vendor.
Welcome back to Scarefest TV. This is like the first week we've actually been running on time for like forever. So, matter of fact, I think since I started the Instagram feed.
Pat yourselves on the back.
It's probably because like I'm so exhausted that I can't, like, I'm not as like as I normally am.
Okay.
I was just talking about the show setup is much easier now that I spent $50 of Brandon's money that he doesn't know about, so that my YouTube feed automatically goes to the website.
One of my favorite things to do.
Money well spent.
So now now if I could just get TikTok figured out.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I might just have to hold my cell phone here and just,
Well, while we are talking, and the council episodes are great times to ask, if you have questions, please post them in the chat so we can answer them. Unless it's a stupid question, then we will ignore it. I'm just kidding.
So what's on the books, Brandon? What are we at cooking?
Well, we see. I had a couple conversations this week, and again, you guys are going to have to excuse me. Tax season takes a lot out of old Brandon, but we've got 2 franchises that we should be able to start announcing next week. We're starting a new one tonight, so that's key.
Yep.
Couple of anniversary ones that are next that we can start in on next week. That you guys have been asking for, that I'm really excited about. I don't think that there's someone that I'm really wanting to get in another franchise that would be really, really awesome. And I've had a
don't say too much because Chris Harris is watching.
Oh yeah, he'll figure it out. So I can't give out clues.
For anybody that's asking in the chat about certain celebrities, we're not. I know Brandon's here and he's the weak link in the chain, but we're not giving away any announcements. And if you straight up ask me, like, is this person coming? I'm not going to say. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm really hoping that we'll be the last stop for a couple of franchises this year that are going around to some other shows. The ones that we'll start announcing next week. I'm excited about the one tonight because we've not had these guys in a while, and they're a hoot. But yeah, I mean, there's so much going on right now with celebs. Like we've still got headliners that we haven't announced, people that we're working on. Like it's just a lot of irons in the fire at once.
Let's see. I missed that. I'm sorry. I'm missing stuff. I should have written some of those down. Someone asked when grocery prices are going down.
I'm for October because I started saving money for autographs like at the end of last year.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Everybody should be on a ramen noodle diet between now and October so that we can afford all of the cool horror things that we are going to buy. One of the questions was anything on axe throwing or bowling. Michael, with that, I don't know if we will be having either one of those events this year. I will probably post another poll a little bit closer to the show, but we do have several events lined up for this year, but I just don't know if we got enough traction, enough demand to bring those events back. So that is a big question mark right now. It's still on my radar though. Definitely.
But the insurance for us sponsoring a axe throwing event went through the roof.
Oh, okay. Well, see guys, and there's just another consideration for a lot of these things. Insurance, am I right?
God. Damn
Someone
liability.
Spencer from Ice Nine Kills. We just had Spencer last year, so we probably will not have him for this year, but he was a phenomenal guest. So I would look forward to having him back. I can't say for sure it would be next year, but we'll definitely will be inviting him back. Barbara, I agree. Yes, she said, questioning my decision to stay at the Hyatt. If I switch to the Clarion, I will have an extra $600 instantly for photos. Cha-ching.
Photo op question. Can my
Chris.
husband stand in line with me without being in the photo? He just might get lost. So.
I didn't see that one. I'm sorry. Oh, there it is. Yeah. He, if it's a photo op, you can have 2 adults in the photo. If you don't want him in your picture, you can lie and tell him I said no.
But
that's okay.
They would probably still allow him to stand in line.
Yeah, you can definitely. He can stand in line with you.
We
for
are
sure.
not
And
in
also,
the family breaking up business.
right. Well, I mean, not all of us. Some of us are, but also they have these really cool like leashes. I think they're for kids, but you could probably find one for your husband also. Maybe. Let's see. I'm excited I get to meet Dick Warlock. I'm very excited about him being there too.
Oh God, yeah, I was wanting to book him for years.
Derek says, "Oh, Brandon, you have to book a Trancers reunion because Derek says if you do, he won't come." I'm just kidding, Derek. Let's see. Save money and gas on parking. No, Sydney, I didn't. I'm terrible. I know. My to-do list is taller than me right now, and it's been tough. Just trying to keep my head above water with some of this stuff. But if you wouldn't mind, send me another message about that, and I will try to look into Cody. Let's see. Oh, Scott said thank you for trying to help him.
Yes, I saw that.
We have a toddler leash. Might have to try it this year. Thanks for the tip.
What's the name of the show I'm watching now?
Something about the neighbors.
What?
Okay, because the conversation is a little. Okay, I watched the one that was Murder Comes to Town. Okay.
Okay.
I ran through that. That gave me, I no trust in even living in a small town being safe. Now I'm watching one that is about your Psycho Neighbors, and I don't know the name of the show because Tubi remembers it for me. Oh my God. These are people that move into houses and find out their next door neighbors are like psychopaths. I mean, I watched one guy, of course it was a reenactment, gunned down two people. Just there is nothing that goes on at Scarefest that's half as scary as actual people.
I switched gears and got hooked on X-Men '97.
I watched the first episode of it, and I was like, nah.
It's got me into a big kick of like Deadpool and Wolverine, and then Tyler Mane is supposed to be in that. Word on the street.
Nice. Yes, he is.
I'm looking forward to that movie, yeah, but I remember being a fan of this when it was on, I think it was Saturday mornings, and I was already well out of Saturday morning cartoon age, but I watched the X-Men cartoon and kind of liked it. But I watched that the other night. It just didn't, I don't know, it just didn't grab me.
There was a question in the chat. Someone was asking if horror trivia is still a go at Lex Live. And yes, we are still planning our launch party for Thursday, tentatively to start at 7:00, featuring horror trivia. So that is something we will do. And that is a free event. So everyone is welcome to come to that. Let's see. I'm not answering guest questions, and we are not giving guest hints. You all are welcome to ask for them, but we're not saying. Blink once for yes, two for no. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, ask us. I think everybody's just like, oh, we've got 5 minutes until the guest announcement. Stop talking and just tell us who's coming to the show.
No. Doesn't work like that. We have to,
Yeah.
This is a professional thing. We have to drag it out so that you sit through the commercials. That gives our sponsoring vendors their little piece of the pie. No, and we will not be releasing any more VIP tickets. I do think there are some held back for contests and giveaways, correct, Adrian?
Yes. That is a really good lead up. So before we do the guest announcements, while we have everybody on here, if you are just tuning in, we, the Scarefest gang, a whole bunch of us, will be going down to Knoxville next weekend for FrankenCon. So we'll be doing Scarefest TV live from FrankenCon. And also we will be giving away a pair of golden tickets to Scarefest at FrankenCon. We are giving away a pair of golden tickets to Scarefest at FrankenCon. I'm going to take a sign-up sheet. I'm going to let people sign up all weekend for it. You have to actually be there in person to enter at FrankenCon, but you can enter to win a pair of golden VIP tickets, which have been sold out since 10 hours after they went on sale. So if you were on the fence about going, maybe
There you go.
check it out. Because no, we will not be releasing any golden VIP to sell. We have some held back for giveaways, but that is it.
I'm looking forward to eating another cheeseburger in the dark.
No one sit next to Brandon if you want your food order to be
No, actually, that had no effect on me whatsoever. I got my food, boom, just like that. I had a waitress come by, take my drink order.
It was just me.
It was this Harry Potter cloak of invisibility, apparently. But yeah, it was. I had fine service.
We just got our FrankenCon vendor load-in email just this second, so I think they were listening.
I've got to dust out my Nightmare on Elm Street 4 poster. Texas Chainsaw 1 sheet. I've got all kinds of stuff I've got to take down there.
Liz has to take a VCR.
Yeah, I have to pack a VCR
For
down
Linnea
there for
Quigley.
Linnea Quigley.
Yes.
Her VCR. I have to ruin my Camp Arawak t-shirt.
Chris
I will
Prater
buy
said
you another one.
he said he'll be at FrankenCon. Should be a lot of fun. I seen they announced some cool food trucks. Yes, I'm very excited. I liked the barbecue food truck from last year. I'm very excited about the food trucks personally. And I like their Brandon was making fun of me because I think I ordered throughout the weekend I had 4 orders of cheese curds from the restaurant. It was my favorite thing. So every time we would go, I would sit down, I would be like, I need some cheese. So and Jason Fantastic says he will hang out with you until 3 a.m. like he did in Atlanta, Brandon.
Yeah. That's the best thing about some of these shows is that I have absolute zero responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. We have minor responsibility at FrankenCon because we're gonna have a table, but there's 6 of us going that can work the table. So I mean, really, we have there are no rules. We have no rules.
Adult spring break.
That's right. We have so much room for activities.
Well, except that Scarlett will be there, and I'll probably end up having to swim in the pool a lot.
That's okay. The pool's close, and Scarlett is awesome. So Scarlett is kind of the best part about when we have Scarefest tables at places. So no one comes to see us. Okay, also have to point out that 2 people in the chat at the exact same time submitted the following comment. Cheese curds are the bomb! ! So there's more of us out there. Shout out to Caleb and Amanda because that was awesome. I don't even know if you all are in the same chat because this is the master, but you both literally, you are. I'm going to screenshot it.
Our first guest announcement tonight, cheese curd.
Cheese curds. And, Barbara is from Wisconsin and they're famous for cheese curds. So I'm just saying.
All right, let's hop on to our commercial break, then we can get to the announcements.
Are you a fan of horror movies, books, comics, music, and collectibles? Rumorg Magazine is for you. Subscribe today to receive 6 or 12 print issues annually and join me, executive editor Andrea Subasati, on an ongoing journey through the horror genre of the past, present, and future. Plus, get access to unmissable special editions such as A Century of Witches, 50 Years of Gore Cinema, British horror movies, and so much more. Rumorg, the world's premier horror and culture and entertainment magazine since 1997. Accept no substitute.
Okay, before we give you our celebrity announcements, I want to remind everybody, go to votelexington.com and click on Things to Do, then the annual event, and then choose Scarefest Weekend. You can do this once per day, and not saying that it's anything you should do, but you can also do it once per device per day. I tried doing it once per browser on the same device but you can't do that. And I don't know how they track that, but I could not pull that one off. But anyway, votelexington.com. We want to be the best of Lexington. Now let's talk about Alex Vincent. Alex Vincent is coming to Scarefest 2024. You know him from Child's Play, Child's Play 2, Cult of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Chucky, the series. He's just Chucky'd all over the place. So Alex Vincent, and I've seen you all request him in the group. So there is one that you've been asking for. And while we're on the topic, Christine Elise will be coming back to Scarefest. Child's Play 2, Vanishing Point, Cult of Chucky, another Chucky alumni. And I love it because she will do my show. She will come on here. Will. She likes me for no particular reason.
Christine is
Scarefest
awesome.
speakers, we have your applications online. You've got this month. If you haven't applied by the end of this month, you're done. That's it. We have to go through them, but you have this month. If you want to talk about something at Scarefest, if you want to present, if you're an expert, an authority, or just like filling a 45-minute section with bullshit, fill out paperwork. Speakers, do that. And also, the Horror Film Festival is taking applications. I have not checked this week to see. We were up to about 63, 65 last time I checked. But we do have a good film festival coming your way this year. By the way, Adrian, I have a really good marketing idea for this. But anyway, everybody, you've got till like August to do that. But if you know a independent filmmaker, or you're involved in independent film, if it's a horror film, thriller, paranormal, get it into the film festival. My next 5K, sponsored by Christy Turner, May 19th, 2024. That's a Sunday. It's on in the afternoon, too. That's going to be hot. Anyway, Run for Hope. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. I do have a link to it on the website. But everybody, this is part of my recovery, i.e. being a douchebag from having a heart attack a year ago. And while I'm talking about it, a Sleepaway Camp cosplay. I'm at 52 Patreons on my Patreon blog. So that means I will, at FrankieCon, premiere that cosplay in full effect, meaning I got to ruin my Camp Arawak t-shirt and let my hairy belly. You got to shave my back this week, by the way. Okay. And if I get up to 100 Patreons by Scarefest, I will do that same cosplay with a tramp stamp. Not a permanent one, but a nice temporary henna tramp stamp or something like that. Patreon.com/ScarefestRadio. 25 cents a week. If I am not worth 25 cents a week to you people, it hurts. It really, really hurts. Now, the Central Kentucky Mystical Market is coming up the weekend of my 5K. May 18th and 19th. May 18th and 19th, Central Kentucky Mystical Market in the new convention center at the Clarion Hotel on Newtown Pike. Bigger and better is what we're promising. Central Kentucky Mystical Market. Look them up on Facebook, or just come to scarefestweekend.com and click the link. We got all the information there. Another event I don't want you all to forget about, the Enchanted Forest Ball, presented by Mystic Luna. Join them for a magical evening filled with enchantment and wonder. The event will take place at the Clarion Hotel Conference Center North on Newtown Pike, where the ballroom will be transformed into a mystical forest setting. Get ready to dance the night away under twinkling lights and surrounded by lush greenery. I'll be sick of hay by then. I won't want to be in greenery. Anyway, but I will dance. I will be there to dance. Anyway, come dressed in your most whimsical attire and prepare to be transported to a fairy tale realm. Don't miss out on this unforgettable night of fantasy and fun. Adults only. No one under 21 will be admitted because we're serving liquor. And I just want to say, to find it, type in Enchanted Forest Ball in Google, and Google is all over it. You get it's right there on the events. You can get the Facebook page, the Eventbrite page. Google it, Enchanted Forest Ball. All right. Is that what I had? That was it. What?
Anita, you shave his back. I'll shave the front.
I'll send the clippers with you.
It's been
This
done.
year, I did not draw the short straw. Well, I guess I should say Wes didn't draw the short straw. He doesn't have to room with me this year. Christy Turner has that misfortune. So I will not be available to shave anything. But Brandon can help you out.
You mean you wouldn't come to my room if she missed like a stray hair?
Yeah, I would.
God.
I would.
Hey,
I would shave your back. I
maybe
got
a
your back,
strip?
bro. Oh, yeah. Anita, leave a landing strip.
For the,
He wouldn't know.
Or what's her name? Put your name in there. Just leave your
well,
for an A.
we'll look at that for next year's Bigfoot conference down in Knoxville. But anyway, yes. Well, I have not that much pride, but I have a little bit, and so yes, my back will be shaven, and she has to go and pluck the hair out of my ears.
Man, someone just it was Chad Harlan said wax it, and I have seen videos like fundraiser videos where guys will if you donate, like they'll do it for charity. It's like, okay, if you donate $50, I'll do like a big wax strip, and you get to pick like where it goes. PG, of course, but
picking where it goes.
like
if I had a profession,
legs.
if I had someplace in town that would wax my back, I would go.
Yeah.
Too much.
Well, I might do it. I'm saying I would go
God.
once.
It was
Oh,
straight up like
Lord.
jigsaw, like torture-esque kind of shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I
we
ta-
should do it for Scarefest. We should pick a charity and let people wax Wes for a good cause.
How about the good cause just be me? By golly, I might just let them wax my back for $25, $50. I can't even get them to pay 25 cents to read the insightful, witty
That's
stuff.
true.
So I have no faith.
writer. Yeah, I understand.
I have no
okay.
faith
Chris
anymore.
Harris says we need to rein it in a little bit. Like we need to get back on topic.
Okay, back on topic. Somebody did ask about the liquor tasting, the whiskey tasting, the bourbon tasting. That's pretty much a done deal. We are going back to some form of that, right?
Yeah, I would say, we sold out very quickly on that last year. And I have a laundry list of things to go over with Kane about things that are coming up this year. And so that is something I'm going to check with him, check with Steve and RA, and see if everybody is still on board with that. They like to switch things up too. So if they want to, we may end up switching out and doing some other folks. But as of right now, yes, the bourbon tasting is still on. It will be Thursday at the distillery. We're still going to do horror trivia. We have announced Danielle and Scout, so we can say that Talk Scary to Me Live will be coming back to Scarefest this year. That will be an on-site ticketed event that will happen right after the end of the show. I'll post details about it a little bit closer, but that will be something we will be doing. We do have a couple other events that we can't talk about quite yet, but we do have a very new, exciting event coming up that will also be a Thursday afternoon event. And then we have another weekend event that we are going to announce. But yes, lots of good things. And we can talk about that, the VIP party, and the fact that we are more than likely going to be moving that off-site this year and putting it back in a venue that's a little bit more suitable for VIP parties. So maybe some music, or we'll definitely have a DJ. We may have some acts or performers, but the VIP party will be moving off-site. There will be a shuttle. I know that question will be next. We will have a shuttle to the VIP party.
I'll tell you one thing, backing up to like the bourbon tasting event, like,
yeah,
I did not realize this, but and I've talked to Adrian about it, but I was talking to the guy that owns like the celeb photo op stuff, and like I did not realize this, but Matt Lillard owns a line of whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's, I haven't tried it yet. It's called Quest Inn. Now, obviously, all bourbon is whiskey, but not all whiskey is bourbon. And I don't know where. I don't think it's being made in Kentucky, so I'm just going to have to review that.
I thought I saw it was sourced in Kentucky.
Oh, is it?
I think you can go and look on the site. I'm pretty sure I saw that it was sourced privately in Kentucky. It didn't list the distilleries or the batches that it came out of, but I think it did.
The idea behind it, like I'm really trying to track down a bottle of it because it's all geared towards like Dungeons and Dragons, because he's a huge Dungeons and Dragons guy, and like, and I mean, I'm a big fan.
I'm trying to figure out a way that we could incorporate that into something for sure. I think it would be pretty cool to do that, definitely.
What, incorporate bourbon or Dungeons and Dragons?
Well, both if you want.
Either or, what the hell?
Yeah, either or. Dealer's choice. But
God, we did the game rooms at one point in time, and like I just swore.
Well, before Brandon says anything, we're not going to be doing like a dedicated game room, but we are going to be bringing in the board game. Like, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher it. It's the Lexington board game. Oh my gosh. I didn't know we were going to talk about it, or I would have made notes. Anyway, they were set up at Comic-Con. They had a whole room set up with like board games, giant Jenga, things like that. They did demos of games. So they have some horror specific games that they're going to bring in and set up, and you can go and test them out and play them. They're going to be doing giveaways, those type of things, but they're not going to be like down in a room. It's not going to be tabletop gaming like we did try to do before. It won't be quite that.
It was too, oh gosh, hey.
Hi, Scarlett.
It was too open up. Like it was a lot of different games, and like there's a lot more horror specific now, like tabletop games and things like that. And then of course you've got like the Killers card game, which I've gotten to be a big fan of. But yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Let's go ahead and think about what you want to say next. We've got 2 more commercial breaks and Bonehead Weekly reviewing Abigail.
Truth Studios is a Scarefest weekend sponsoring vendor. Trick or Treat Studios is the one-stop shop for high-quality Halloween and horror. Shop masks, costumes, figures, collectibles, games, and more from your favorite movies. Find Trick or Treat Studios online at trickortreatstudios.com.
Joel of Robinson Hart is a Scarefest weekend sponsoring vendor. Joel Robinson has been the official Scarefest weekend artist since its beginning in 2008. Joel is a movie cover artist and a Universal Monsters artist. Visit Joel for posters, canvases, t-shirts, purses, and backpacks. Visit Joel's Etsy page at joelrobinsonart.com.
Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. I had the privilege of going to the movies the other day with one Christy Turner, who's always been a dear friend of mine, and we saw a movie called Abigail. Christy Turner being the only person who, when I made a post about going to the movies, took me up on it. She's a glutton for punishment. Abigail is pretty much what you see in the trailer. That's kind of unfortunate, because really all it's about is this. It's a group of thieves and criminals, and they kidnap a little ballerina. Happens in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And then what they find out is that the ballerina belongs to a powerful underworld person whom we don't see. They take her to an isolated mansion. A guy played by Giancarlo Esposito, who I had the privilege of interviewing a couple years ago, who's just as nice in person as he is on screen. I said, you know, you're all going to get $50 million. You just have to stay here for 24 hours till the dad pays off. And of course, none of that works out because this is a horror film. Turns out the ballerina's a vampire and starts picking them off one at a time. You ever just watch something and you want to love it? You want to love it. And I wanted to love this so much. And honestly, I loved scenes in it. So ask Christy about this. She says I'm being a little too harsh, but not far off. Actually, she told me, she goes, I'm not too far off about all. It's brought to you by the guys that did, they're called Radio Silence or whatever group. It's two directors. They directed the Scream reboot and the one after that. But the movie that they did that I really love was Ready or Not. And I've reviewed it on here. And if you've never heard of it, go back and listen to my review on Bonehead Weekly of Ready or Not, Scarefest review. Perfect, almost perfect film starring Samara Weaving. This movie has great scenes, but a lot of the stuff that we've seen before. What really works in this movie is everything about Abigail. When it's not Abigail, it doesn't work as well. And Abigail's played by this actress who just blew me away, Alicia Weir. She is fantastic as the little vampire in this movie. She is fantastic. This movie is bloody. This movie is gross. This movie has vampires. It has a decent cast. I mean, Dan Stevens, Kevin Durant, Giancarlo Esposito also in it. The late Angus MacLeod. Catherine Newton. So she was in Lisa Frankenstein. She played Lisa Frankenstein. And it stars Melissa Barrera, who was in the Scream movies. It's nothing wrong with her performance. I don't know if she's miscast. I was talking to somebody about this. I think it was Barbara, and she was like, yeah, I think I think so too. The movie's not bad at all. I just wouldn't rush out and see it. I love scenes, but once again, every time I love the scene, there'd be a scene right after it that I saw in another movie. Like they're talking about vampires, and I swear it's like they lifted it right out of From Dusk Till Dawn. The scene where Tom Savini's like, "Ooh, a Time Life book. Does anybody know anything about actual vampires?" There's just so many of those things. It's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I did. It's just it's a 6 or 7, and it could have been an 8 or 9. It's basically what it is. It's middle of the road. The performance they get out of this little girl is just fantastic. It's too bad that the rest, and the movie's a lot like Ready or Not, all taking place at a mansion in the middle of nowhere. The way the bodies explode from the vampires is just like Ready or Not at the end of it, if you're familiar with it. It doesn't have Samara Weaving, and a lot of the stuff that I watched, I was like, oh, I've seen this in another movie, kind of slightly better. But Abigail, the lead character, every scene she's in is amazing. So, should you check out Abigail? Absolutely. If you love vampires, you want a good time, this is not a bad movie. I just wanted it to be more. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly. Anytime you get a chance to go to the movies with Christy Turner, you should totally do that, even though she made me pay. Love you.
And welcome back, everybody, to Scarefest Television. Final little segment here. I have not watched a horror movie in a theater forever. I've watched a lot of horror movies. So, just want to throw that in there where he said he actually went to the theater to watch that.
That's a place to watch it. I was just talking to somebody the other day about like the first movie that you watched like in a theater, like from a big franchise that was horror related. And like I always remember Nightmare on Elm Street, like Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. That was the first one I could ever see in the theater. And then H2O Halloween was the first time I got to see Michael Myers in the theater. And
hell yeah,
you always remember the ones that you see in the theater. That's for sure.
I saw the Saw movies were the first horror movies I saw in theaters. The last horror movie I saw in theaters was Christine, but it was recently for the 40th anniversary showing. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. I really like when they bring back like the older movies at the theater and you can go in and watch them. Let's see.
I think
that was my first induction to Scarefest, was that they were doing Return of the Living Dead
at the Kentucky.
At the Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I was absolutely beside myself that the movie was in the theater. It was one of the best things. And I was like, Scarefest? What the hell is Scarefest?
Well, and look where you are now. Look where it got you.
Let's see. I'm disappointed in the chat room tonight. They got a bazillion messages and no questions, other than trying to get us to drop names from who we got coming.
Yeah, I've noticed several, like, what about this person or this person? Well, you're just gonna have to wait and see. Because, and the thing is, not out of meanness, but like I said, there are some people that, if we had announced them already and then they had to cancel, we'd all be heartbroken. So this way, we carry the burden of heartbreak for you, right? We have to deal with what could have been, not you all. So, Pet Sematary, Child's Play in theaters in 88, Pet Sematary in 89. That's pretty cool. Chris Prater said he was at the Return of the Living Dead screening too.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that's awesome. I really liked when we got to watch Creepshow in LA.
Yeah, that was pretty badass.
Yeah. Let's see, the two drops. Let's see.
I just went on Google I don't remember what I watched. Of course, everything I watched horror-wise was at the drive-in, and we've already talked about that. Cat People!
I want to bring up
I saw Cat People.
What?
I remember seeing Cat People in the theater. I think I saw that in northern Kentucky. Just throwing it out there.
I used to have to drive 45 minutes just to watch a movie in a theater.
Yeah. Jake said, I'll ask my question differently. Could it be possible for multiple guests to have line building rules? It's possible. I think some of the ones that we were looking at bringing this year that can't be there would have probably had specific line building, but if we do, we'll talk about it when we announce them. But as of right now, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that we're good just with doing Matthew's line building, and we still don't know exactly what that looks like yet. We've got to get with his team.
Yeah, I mean, I potentially see there may be two more that.
Yeah, could be
substantial, but yeah.
I mean, and also, what we did last year with the lines, I mean, even having the numbers that we had last year, there were so many different people to see. The lines moved so well that I don't think that we're going to have to take a bunch of crazy precautions, but we do have a meeting with the convention center next week to talk to them about the floor plan. Hopefully get a lot of stuff finished and set, and then we'll really start. I mean, it's going to snowball very quickly. Once we get these last few details put in on the floor plan, we're going to start announcing a lot more stuff. So definitely keep your suggestions and stuff incoming. But I think we're in a pretty good place, guys, as far as the planning goes. Very excited to share what we've got in the works.
Like I was looking at the budget again, like this week, and like I was still amazed that we're still just in May.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to me, it just doesn't feel like it. I mean, maybe it's because April was such a, but yeah, I don't know.
Amanda asked, can you explain how line building goes? So specifically for the upcoming event, I can't yet, just because we don't have the floor plan isn't finalized yet, and our guest list isn't finalized yet. But once it is, we can really get more into the line building. Now, last year, what we did was we had some lines that queued that had overflow in other places, like the hallway or the loading dock, that kind of stuff. And what we've done in the past with guests like Robert England is we would have people come up, and once you get into the line, you are basically given a numbered ticket within a group, and the people are called back in groups to stand in line. So you have your place in line, but you don't have to actually physically stand in line. You can go and enjoy the rest of the con while the line is progressing. So that was a very effective way, it felt like, for us. And, you know, obviously people are going to be disappointed if you go to meet a celebrity and you don't get to meet them. But the upside is you don't spend your whole day standing in one place and still not get to meet them. So we're hoping that, you know, implementing some of the different strategies we've used over the years will just help things run very smoothly. And we've had some really good success with that over the last couple of years. So we really, you know, use your all's feedback when we're looking at how to build these. And then we go to a lot of shows also. So we go and we get in the trenches and we experience things, and we're like, okay, this worked, or let's definitely not do things this way because we don't like it either. So
I'm very adamant. Like I went to a show, and like you guys have heard, if you've listened to me on some of the other Scarefest episodes, like I went to a show not too long ago, and I literally stood outside in 30-degree weather.
Yeah.
3.5 hours when I was at the show for only 2 days. And so I didn't really get a chance to do a whole lot. The whole time I was there, I was in line. Now, one thing I can tell you about the benefit of having so many celebrities is that, and I've noticed this, is that they're more accessible because they're spread out and you've got more, and people are like, you know, you're always going to have your headliners and people that are going to have large lines.
Yeah.
But people often talk about, like when I was in that line at the other show, people were talking about my show. And so I, you know, obviously like started like talking with folks that weekend, and just the ability, like they were talking about like no lines, like people that like Bill Mosley, like they could go up and it'd be like 5 people. And it's not that Bill doesn't have a lot of people at his table. It's just that they're so dispersed. Like you can go up and not have to wait in line for like 3 hours.
Yeah. And, you know, it was crazy because some of the feedback that we got from people last year, like, you know, there were, I'm not going to say any specific guest names because I don't want to like call anybody out, but I had some people like, oh, I noticed that so-and-so didn't, you know, have a long line all weekend. And that person told me that they did better at our show than they have ever done at any other event that they have ever been at. And it's like Brandon said, the line might be 5 or 10 minutes long, but it's 5 or 10 minutes long all weekend. So it's like if you took all the people and lined them up at 5 celebrities, or you spread that out over 50 people, the line's going to be 10 times shorter and you can get to more folks and meet them. So that's kind of, you know, was the idea behind it, and it worked very well. And thank you, Jeffrey, for your kind words. Amanda says, how did VIP work with that last year? I'm on a mission to meet Matthew. So the VIP, the VIP for most celebrities, you can utilize line skip passes. Now, I did say when we announced Matthew that we will not be using line skips for Matthew, because literally what would happen is everybody with a line skip would end up at the front of the line, and everybody that didn't have one would be at the back. So what we're going to do is we'll probably do something like what we did with Robert, where we do the sign up. So you come up and get in line and you get your place in line. And since VIP can line up first, they will obviously get the first place in line. Now, the way that we kind of made it a little more even for general admission was we sell a very limited number of VIP tickets. So the first 2 groups each day, VIP could fill those 2 groups up, and then general admission got everything else. So we got folks from VIP, everyone that had VIP that wanted to meet Robert got to meet him. And by Sunday, I think we only had like 6 VIP people come up to do their group. So we skipped straight to general admission on Sunday. I'm not saying any of that is how Matthew will work, but that is the general idea behind it for this year. Is VIP will still get the perk of getting in early by getting at the front of the line, but you don't actually have to stand in line. So I hope that was not too.
Honestly, the VIP stuff, like the best thing about it is, well, I mean, not the best thing, but as far as like how most VIPs are able to knock out like everything they need.
Yes.
Is those early Fridays
mm-hmm.
and early Saturdays. And so most of the VIPs that I talk to like every year, and especially in the last couple of years, more so, is that they're able to get in there Friday and get everything they need to get knocked out during the course of like Friday and early Saturday. And then they've got Saturday and Sunday to rock it. And that's what they generally do. So, I mean, that's the benefit of it.
Yes. And someone just asked a really good question. Charlene said, if photo ops are downstairs, where will the panels be? They will also be downstairs. So if you were at Scarefest last year, when you come off of the escalator going down to the second level, the panels and the film festival and the speakers were all to the left. That hallway also goes to the right, and the right has more meeting rooms. That's where the photo ops will be. And I know, we talk about a lot on here. When we get closer to the show, we will be doing lives. We will be screen sharing. We will pull up the floor plan. We'll pull up a map of downtown. We'll talk about parking. We'll talk about where the photo ops are. All of these things we will go over in much greater detail closer to the show. So if we're talking about stuff now and you're like, oh, I won't remember this, we'll go back over it all again.
We spent the last month of the show last year just drilling it into everyone's heads.
Yeah.
Put everything except drive to your houses, beat your front doors, and draw you a map of the place.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But based on last year's feedback, a lot of people did wish we had personal guides that we could have sent out on the floor to carry lawn chairs and to show them where everything is.
Like Sherpas?
Yeah, exactly. So are we good? Let's see.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. Does anybody else have any other questions? Those are really good ones.
And last minute question. Can Weekend Plus pass holders line up with VIP if that's how the line is?
Oh, we just had a big conversation about that. And like, we'll be going through it, a lot more closer to the show. But like the interior lines this year are only going to be Weekend Plus and VIP. And we didn't do one thing that we said after the show ended last year that we'd have to watch out for this year was making sure that the Weekend Pluses didn't get mixed in with the VIPs.
Yeah.
And so we'll have that more separated out because they all don't get in at the same time.
The VIPs do get to go in first. It's an hour early entry, but the VIPs get to go in first.
Yeah. So we had to separate them out in the line last year, which everybody was pretty cool about it. I wasn't excited about it, and I apologize to folks. Gave out some swag, but this year it'll be clearly marked. And if you see somebody with a VIP badge standing in front of you, it means you're in the wrong line.
Okay, everybody, quick reminder. Next episode, live from FrankenCon. And so there. And
partially live from the hotel bar.
More than likely. Than likely. So, I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. We didn't have a lot of new information, but we do like to use these as a Q&A. So think about it. Next month, if you got anything you want to know about, bring it to the chat room. We watch it religiously, and because we want to make this as pleasant of an experience as we can possibly do for you. That was my lilty, sexy voice.
Oh, okay.
That was what you were going for with that?
That's what I was going for. I'm not saying it works on my little Kentucky accent, but
ticket sales just dropped 5%.
Right.
Night.
Good night.